All right. So now we're back at the freeCodeCamp JavaScript algorithms and data structures main page. Beta main page. There we go. So now we're going to be doing the Build a Roman Numeral Converter project. And this is one of the required projects to claim our certification. For this project, we'll build an application that converts integers to Roman numerals. All right. So to build a Roman numeral converter, Roman numerals are based on 7 symbols and can be written using various combinations to represent Arabic numerals. For example, we've got all this right here. So M is 1,000, CM is 900, and whatnot. And as you can see, this has a pattern. So it's got a 1, a 9, a 5, a 4, 1, a 9, a 5, a 4, 1, 9, a 5, 4, 1. All right. So we can use that pattern to our advantage later. So basically, the objective is to build an app that's functionally similar to this right here, right? So we're going to put 399 convert it. It'll give us all that. But if we put like negative numbers, it'll say, please enter a number greater than or equal to 0. If we do nothing, it'll say, please enter a valid number and whatnot. All right, so that's basically what we're going to be doing. So to start off, we need to do this stuff. We need an ID of, an input element with the ID of number. But before we do that, what we're going to have to do is grab that stuff, grab the boilerplate. All right, so we can open up VS Code, and let me close this so that you can see how to get it. So we would do something like new file, text file, select a language, and then we would say something like HTML, HT is fine. Get that. And then we would push the exclamation point, and where it says image abbreviation, we click that, and we can see the, what is that? We can see the boilerplate comes up. So let's do an Control A, Control C, bring it over here to this, and let's drop it off like that, right? So we should have an input element with an ID of number. So let's start off with that. Let's do input. We don't need a closing input, so we'll just say ID equals number. All right. Then after that, Then after that, we're going to make a button element with an ID of convert button. All right. So button. Where are we at? Button. Close button. You give it the ID equals convert hyphen BTN, like that, right? So now we've got the input here and the button there. So inside of this, as the HTML text for this, let's put something like convert like that, right? So now we've got a nice looking button right there. So now all we need is this div element with the ID of output. So let's just take this button ID, let's drop it off here on 11. Let's turn this into div and then close div. Let's get rid of convert right here. And let's turn this ID into output like that. All right, so now we're going to have to access the JavaScript through the HTML. So we'll come down here at the bottom of the body and we'll say opening script, close script, and then we'll say src for source, src equals, and we'll target this thing right here. So we'll say dot slash script dot JS like that, right? So now this and this, so now these two are linked, all right? And we're not going to do styles on this because everybody's style is different, right? So anyway, now that we've got that, also, what's the point? So now that we've got that, let's start this stuff. So we're going to have to first access these right here on the JavaScript, these three right here on the JavaScript. So let's come over to the script, and we'll start off by saying const. We'll say const, and we'll call this first one input. And we'll say that equals document.get element by ID. And then we'll put in here the string number for the number ID, right? So with that, we'll cap that off with a semicolon. Let's just take this right here, all of one, press enter, drop it, enter, drop it. And then let's get this second input. Let's call it convert. And this third one, let's call it output like that, right? And then this one's going to be convert hyphen btn, all right? That's the ID we're accessing. And this one will be accessing output as well. All right. So all three of these are accessing all three of these by ID. All right. So let's come back to the JavaScript. And now what we got to do, we got to make a list of these right here, because without this, we can't do anything. So let's start off by making an array of arrays. So we'll say const numeral equals. We'll start off with an array. Let's cap that off with a semicolon so we don't have to later. And let's drop this down. So we're going to start with the first array as the element, and we're going to have the string capital M. All right. Let's just have caps locks down for this one. And then we're going to have the second element in this array be 1000. Okay. So let's cap this off with a comma. And what we're going to do is remember at the beginning, we said this is a pattern of 1954, 1954. So let's make 3 more to start off with. Let's go 1, 2, 3 like this. Let's change this M to CM. All right. Let's call this one right here CD. Let's call this last one. No. Let's call this one D. And then this next to last one. And then this last one, you know what I'm saying. CD like that. All right. So now let's change this 10 to a 9. Let's change this 10 to a 5. Let's change this 10 to a 4, right? So now we've got 1954 like that. So let's take all 4 of these, copy it, and drop it off one more time, right? So let's change this M to a C. The next one will change to XC. The next one will change to L, and then XL after that. XL. There we go. And then let's change these. Let's just take 1 off of each one because we've got 190, 50, and 40. So let's just take 1 0 off of each one of these. And so now we've got that. So let's take the next 4, copy those, drop it off. Let's change this C to X. Then we'll have IX. Then we'll have V. Then we'll have IV. All right, and let's just take off another 0 on each one of these. We got 10, 9, 5, 4. Whoa. 9, 5, 4 like that. And then let's just take this whole of 17 and the end of 16, drop it off, get rid of the comma, turn this 4 into a 1, and turn this IV into an I like that. And so now we've got this whole list right here that we can access, all right? So now that we've got this, we can start with the user stories, okay? With the number 4, because now, let's open up the console and run it. You see, we're now on this one because we already took care of the first 3 user stories, right? So when we click on the convert button ID element without entering a value into the number ID element, the output ID element should contain the text, please enter a valid number, right? So when we say convert on this, and there's nothing in there, we want it to say, please, whatever, please enter a valid number, right? But before we do that, I don't want to hit convert every time. Why don't we do the key down thing, the key down event, just to make it a little easier on us? Do the key down event to where when we push enter, after entering something, it'll do what we want it to, right? So let's do that first. Let's say input, whoa, let's take it off caps lock. Input, all right? So this thing right here, dot, add event listener. And what we're going to do here is we're going to do the key down event. So key down. And we're going to have the event, so the E, be, what is it? If, we'll say if, event.key triple equals, no, not event. If e.key triple equals 1, 2, 3, the enter key, all right? If that's the case, what we're going to do is we're going to say convert dot click like that, okay? So basically, it's just going to do the click method on convert, all right? And I don't know if we went over the click method JavaScript. All right, so HTML element dot click method. So the click method just simulates a mouse click on an event, and when called on an element, the element's click event is fired. Okay, so that's basically how that works. So now that we've got that, let's do the if statement so we can test it out. So let's come down here, and we'll say if. Is that what we're gonna do? Yeah, let's do. Actually, we got to do the event listener. So let's do the click event listener on this thing. So let's say convert dot add event listener. All right. And so now we're taking care of this part. So whenever it's a click event, all right, we're going to do the empty arrow function. And then inside of this, what we're going to do is have the if statement to start off with. So if. So we'll say if input.value equals nothing. So, okay, first off, we're going to be using input.value a lot. So let's come down here and let's say const input. Let's put const value equals input.value. That way we don't have to type it out like this every single time. So if a not operator value, so if there's nothing in here, right? What we're going to do is we'll say output dot value. Output dot inner text. So output dot inner text now equals, and we'll put please enter a valid number. So let's say please enter a valid number. All right, number. There we go. So let's go inside of here and let's press enter. And you can see right here, please enter a valid number. Okay, so that works. Let's come down here and let's run the test just to check it. All right, cool. So we're on the next one. So when the number ID element contains the number -1 and the convert button ID element is clicked, the output ID element should contain the text, please enter a number greater than or equal to 1. Okay. So we're going to do an else on this one. So else if value is less than 0, right? What we're going to do is we're going to do this thing right here. All right. And we'll say, please enter a number greater than or equal to 1. All right. Now let's see if that works. Let's say -1. Yes. All right. Let's run the thing to make sure. Yes. Okay. So now we're going to do when the number ID event contains the number 4000 or greater, the convert button ID element, and the convert ID element, you know what I'm saying, is clicked. The output ID element should contain the text, please enter a number less than or equal to 399. All right, so let's do that. So then, now we'll do an else if. Let's just take this whole else if and just bring it down here. And let's change it up a little bit. If value is greater than 3999, we'll say please enter a number less than. We'll change this less than or equal to 3999. All right. So let's put 4000. Yes, looks good. Let's run the tests. Yes. Okay. Now we're going to do the thing where we need to convert the Roman numerals since we got all these edge cases out of the way. So now we're going to do an else statement, and we're going to have to do this stuff. Okay, so for this one, we're going to have, basically what we're going to have to do is a while loop. Okay, but what we need to do is we need to iterate through this thing. And whenever we get a number, like let's say we get the number 3999, okay, 3999, like this. We want it to come through, and we want it to say, okay, so 3999 is going to say m, and then subtract 1,000 from this, and do another m, and subtract another 1,000 from this, and do another m. So m, another 1,000. Let's actually open up this thing, right here, and do 3999. All right. So m. We want to get those three m's and you subtract 1,000 each time, and add the m to a result, and then we'll do cm for 900, which is this one, and then we want to do another m, mcm, cm, and then xc for 90. So xc, this thing right here, and then an ix for 9. ix right there. So we want to add this, then this, then this, then this, then this, then this, all to a result, right? Because those are all the different numbers in this thing, right? Such a horrible method. I'm so glad we got these numbers. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. So let's start off by having a result. So let's say let result equal an empty string like this, okay? So now we're going to have to do a for loop to go through this thing and see if this number is less than whatever number we put in here, like 399. And if it is, we'll subtract this number from that number, okay? So let's do a for loop. Let's say for, and we're going to do a for of loop on this one. And I don't remember if we went through destructuring syntax, but we can go through it right now. Right? Let's go to destructuring assignment syntax, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to do the thing to where we can say, let A and B, let this number and this number equal whatever gets passed in to the for loop, which will be what's going to get passed in is any one of these, right? So we want this to be like Roman. Do we already have Roman already made? So we want this to be Roman and this to be number, right? So we're going to say for, and then we'll do const, and then we'll say Roman, comma, number, all right? So Roman is talking about these, and number is talking about these when they get passed into this loop of, and what's the name of this thing? Numerals. Let's call it numerals. Of numerals. All right. So now that we're doing that, what we want to do is come down here and say, what do we want to say? We're going to do a while loop. And so we'll say while, and we'll say while number is less than, while this thing is less than input dot value. So while number is less than value. So while value is greater than or equal to number, number is less than value. So while number is less than value, what we'll do is we'll say result plus equals Roman, all right? Because we're adding this to it, and then this, and then this, and then this, right? So result plus equals Roman, and then we're also going to say value minus equals number, right? So we're adding, like I said, we're adding whatever this is to the result, and we're subtracting this from the value each time. And that should take care of business. Let's see, here's the else. So inside of here, we'll come down here and we'll say return result, All right, and let's come over here. Let's say 399. Enter. Oh, it didn't work. All right, so what's the problem? All right, so while number is less than value, Roman number. Here's number. Here's Roman. Why aren't these working? Oh, we're not inside of the thing. All right, let's what's this? Let's get this and bring it inside of this. All right, and then let's bring this. What's this? That should be there. This should be over 1, and these should be over 1. And that should take care of it. Let's try 399. Enter. Value is read only. Come on. Value is read only. Oh, const. Let's turn this into let. Let value, right? So now let's try it one more time. Still doesn't work. No, we're not returning it. We're outputting it. Okay, let's do output dot inner text equals result. All right, so that should work now. Come on. All right, now let's press enter. There we go. There we go. So that should be the end of that. Let's run the thing. There we go. That's the end of that. All right. Check it looks good and submit it. So now we're done with a Roman numeral converter project. I don't know if I'm going to make these. I'm probably just going to do all these live because, you know, I mean, I know that you guys are at the point where you know how to do these without me telling you how. So we'll probably be, the next video will probably be this one, and I'll be doing these all live, all right? So there's that, and we'll see you next time.